No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Pichettis?
No. I don't even speak to it. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him. No.
Night Court with Joe LaNue, live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella.
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to
You
criminate.
got any business?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of intent to criminate.
You have any profession?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made
You
intent
have
to
any
criminate.
occupation?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent
Are
to
you a
criminate.
known racketeer?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to Night Court, Friday night videos, or as we started to call it, the grand jury. We've got some good police use of force videos lined up for us tonight. I do want to put out a little show note. The scheduling is conflicting to the Tyson fight tonight, so I'm watching it on the side. Tyson comes up, we'll have to end the show early, but my estimates are that we will be able to get this show in prior to the Tyson fight. But it's something I absolutely want to see. As I told my cohorts here, it's not every day that you get to see a 59-year-old man fight like that. So, but we've got with us tonight, we've got Big Ron, got James and Bruce Wayne. All three are co-hosting on the Night Court show on a regular basis. And we've got our good friend and legacy speaker at the minimum of the show is Jason with us tonight. So I guess myself and Jason will take up the law enforcement banner, and you guys take up the civilian banner. That's the way we're going to do it.
Looks like it.
Civvies all the way.
Fair enough. I think that we'll probably have some of our regulars pop back in. But I do want to say, anybody that's watching, and the chat is open. We'd like to hear your opinions on what we're watching here, and you guys give us your opinion on what you see as well. We're part of the show, and we appreciate it. But now, Big Ron, do you want to bring up our? Let's tell you what. Let's go in reverse order. Let's go in reverse order on it, Big Ron. Let's go from left to right. I'd like for Lawyer Joe to be in on a couple of those on that side.
Now, you want to start with Austin, Texas?
Let's go to Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas coming up.
You know what? There's going to be a problem with that one, my friend. Let's pull that one down. Let's go to Ohio. Okay, next.
Filling Police Department.
Yeah, my name is. I just went out looking for my son, found him at Bernard Park, and there is kids sitting there underage drinking.
Okay, how many of them are there?
There's 3 of them.
Do you
They're
know who
sitting
they
at
are?
the picnic table. But I do not know who they are. They're sitting there at the picnic table at the basketball court.
Okay, you have your son with you?
I do have my son with me.
All right, we'll go ahead and get an officer out there to check. Do you know how old these kids are?
I'm going to say they're around 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
There was 2 males and a female.
All right, I appreciate you giving us a call. We'll get a couple officers headed that way, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
You need a copy, or can I just find a picture of it?
A picture will work.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
I don't know where he went. Stay down. Stay down. I got him at gunpoint. Throw the gun out, man. You're gonna get shot again. Throw it out. Throw the gun. Dude, throw it. Gun now. We have a suspect who's been shot. Throw the gun out! Throw the gun out now! Can you see it? We're gonna need EMS. He has at least one gunshot wound. He's bleeding profusely. Have him come to Menard Park. They'll be closer that way. Disregard. They'll have to go to the tracks. Dead end of McManus. Where the f*** is the gun, dude? I don't know what she just said. Re-advise. At least one. He has some blood on his head, too. I don't know if he has a head wound. Where the f*** is the gun? I got you, buddy. Don't move. You got gloves? He has a head injury.
Thank you.
Stay here. Hey, where's that? Trying to start one on shot. He's up on towards McManus. You got him. Throw the gun out, man. You're gonna get shot again. Throw the gun out. Throw the gun. Dude, throw it. Throw the gun now. Affirmative, we have a suspect who's been shot. You take McManus north of the dead end, that's where we're at. Throw the gun out! Throw the gun out now! Can you see it? I cannot. You're gonna need EMS. He has at least one gunshot wound. Where is the gun at? Yes. Have come to the Menard Park.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to throw anything.
Let's go to the tracks that way. Disregard. Let's go to the tracks.
That'd be a DRT.
Where's the gun at?
Dude.
No, I don't think he's DRT.
I don't know what she was saying. Re-advise. At least one. He has some blood on his head, too. I don't know if he has a head wound.
Most likely he'll be
I see
DRT at another location.
I got you. Don't move.
Okay. Hey, I want to welcome Tactical Engineer Fidgy and Lawyer Joe to the show. They come in just as the video started. But Fidgy, I want to go to you. Do you see enough of this to make a judgment, have a comment?
I did. It's actually no bill for me. If you fire at cops, expect to be fired back.
Picture will work.
Okay.
Okay. So no bill for you. Tactical. I don't know if you got in to see that. If you want to make a comment, tell me so. If you don't, I'll keep moving. Okay, I'm going to take that as a keep moving. Bruce Wayne, what'd you think?
This will probably have to be a no bill for me. Did he actually fire the gun? I didn't see that, but
Yeah, I tell you what, the second officer's body cam is better to make that determination. Let's go there. You have to listen for them, though.
yeah, I'd probably no bill it even. But yeah, if you
But
fired
the
the gun,
young man that's running away fired it.
yeah, it's a no bill then, for sure.
Ooh, boy. Phone call. Yeah, here. Listen. Two. There's the officer's response. Were you able to make that distinction?
Yeah, I believe you. I'm not. It was hard for me to tell, but that's a no bill.
Okay. Big Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with the no bill on that one, Joe. And you can definitely hear the difference in the sound of the volleys from the return fire and the back and forth between the two. So yeah, good shoot.
James.
That kid knew he was going with the cops in either cuffs or a bag. He chose bag.
Well, you threw that down like a movie line. So it would be a no bill for you, right?
That is correct.
Very well, Lawyer Joe. Lay it out for us.
What Fiji said, the kids started firing first. I don't know what you can expect. If you're shooting at someone, they're going to shoot back, or I hope they're going to shoot back. So he initiated it. He chose it. It's a no bill.
Okay. We've got us a no bill there. Jason, what do you think about the whole interaction?
I thought the caller was kind of a Karen, but the guy transferred from handcuffs. He still got handcuffs in his hand, but no bill. If he was fired upon, it's totally justified.
You know what's weird is I have the exact same opinion. The caller was a Karen. Don't call the police on your neighbors. You know, I guess figure out who the mamas are and tell their parents, I guess, would be a solve to it. But yeah, minor drinking to minor dead.
Yeah, who cares?
All right, folks, let's get started. Let's go to San Francisco Bay.
Ooh, my old stomping grounds.
Someone used a stick to break the window downstairs in my home, and they broke inside, and I saw them enter the house.
Officers Eureka Monroe and Frank Chenois were dispatched to a 603, a person breaking in, call for service at 0927 hours.
Ron, he's in here still.
Relax.
My wife is on the second floor.
Okay.
Upstairs.
The officers then met with the owner, who came downstairs and told them that the suspect was in their house and so was his sleeping wife.
San Francisco Police!
Without waiting for backup,
liberal
Officers
man
Monroe
there.
and Chenois entered the home for the safety of the wife. They
scared.
drew their firearms
So
and
scared.
tactically performed a sweep of the 4-story house.
Well, it looks like someone may have broken into your house and they may still be here.
Oh my god, seriously?
Yes. So
Hey,
how
your
about?
husband's outside, please. Step out for me, please. Oh my god, okay.
All right.
They found the
He's
spouse
so scared
sleeping
while
on the
his wife
second
was
floor.
asleep upstairs.
They told her to leave the premises via the area they had already searched. They continued their search of the house and found no one inside.
All right, it's clear.
The officers were able to view the Nest camera, which showed a depiction of the suspect, which they broadcast to dispatch.
Sorry to alarm you. I was just trying to hurry up and
Alarm
get
me, you
out.
man. No.
because,
That's exactly what I was hoping you would do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Backup officers started to arrive on scene, and a perimeter was established. The original caller met with Officer Monroe and told her that he had just come face to face with the suspect while he was in his home.
This is the top one. He's on the top third floor. Back staircase. He's locked up there. This building just made contact with him.
The suspect was now utilizing the rooftops and attempting to gain entrance into other homes. Officers Peterson, Nazer, and Williams gained access to the rooftops and located the suspect.
Hey!
To the west and the 2030.
Look, man, just walk over where you came
Okay, we
from.
got it.
I want to make sure you're okay, all right?
Officers gave verbal commands to the suspect, who was now shirtless and attempting to escape. He refused to follow their instructions.
Why you up there, man? Hey, just come towards us. You're up here. People are concerned about you, man.
The suspect made his way downstairs through a tradesman's entrance. Officers followed his movements at a distance, and Officer Peterson informed the perimeter officers via PIC radio that the suspect was exiting the premise on the Greenwich Street side.
Hey, come on out, man. Come on, I got him. Come on out, man. Hey, come on out, man. Come on out. Let's put an end to this. There's people right there. He's coming out the front garage on the Greenwich.
The suspect was shirtless, and no one observed him with any weapons. The suspect exited the building onto the sidewalk, where he came face to face with Officer Chenoweth. He saw Officer Chenoweth walk towards him, and he immediately raised his right hand above his head, where he now held a knife. The suspect slashed downward with the knife at Officer Chenoweth. Officer Chenoweth's quick reflexes allowed him to avoid being stabbed by moving out of the way. Without hesitation, he chased after the suspect and broadcast on PIC radio that the suspect had a knife.
Was down on Greenwich. He has a knife in his hand, white male, black shorts, brown hair.
The suspect ran towards Greenwich Street to southbound Fillmore Street to eastbound Pixley Street. Officer Monroe got into the waiting patrol vehicle with Sergeant Kelly driving. They pursued the suspect and caught up with him on Pixley Street as he was now starting to run slower. They pulled up next to him, telling him to give up.
Hey, you're not going to beat me. Stop, you're not going to beat me.
Officer Monroe, alone and with great courage, jumped out of the police vehicle and pursued the suspect on foot. Officer Monroe touched the suspect's back and was about to push the suspect to the ground. The suspect quickly spun around, raised a knife with his right hand, and tried to stab Officer Monroe in the head. Officer Monroe jumped backwards and narrowly avoided being stabbed. Officer Monroe drew her service firearm and pointed it at the suspect and ordered the suspect to drop the knife. The suspect dropped the knife and fled eastbound on Greenwich Street. He was quickly tackled by two firemen and Officer Galla, who took the suspect into custody.
Attempted murder of a police officer.
Officers Monroe and Chenoweth knowingly put themselves in danger beyond the expectations of a normal officer.
Okay. Let's talk about this. I don't think there's going to be any grand jury issues with it, but interesting video, I thought anyway. But Tactical, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this particular case is pretty interesting. There was a lot of restraint that was used, for sure. I think that did they broadcast that? Yeah, they did broadcast that he had a knife. So I'm not sure why they were bum rushing with a knife. The suspect had a knife, but it is what it is. I think that could have gotten someone killed. I think that's kind of reckless. If you know somebody has a knife, and we know there's the 21-foot rule. I don't know why you would bum rush someone with a knife. At least without even drawing out a weapon.
Well, then he didn't have a knife at the point they were bum rushing. He had dropped the knife.
No. In the beginning, that the officer that the second officer to make contact did bum rush, knowing that he had a knife because that was on radio. The last contact is what you're talking about, when he already dropped it.
I'm with you. Okay, but an interesting law enforcement interaction, I think, on that one. Let's go to Fidji.
That's a no, Bill. But I gotta give the guy credit. You don't see too many people robbing in pantalones. I don't know what the hell he was wearing, but that was weird.
Are you saying the suspect was not dressed the way you would expect?
No, I've just never seen a robber in like.
Pantaloons. It looks like he was in
Thank you.
pantaloons.
Yes. I didn't want to use that word again, but yeah, I that was an interesting choice of wardrobe for robbing people.
Okay.
I gotta say, at first, I thought when the guy came out and claimed about the suspect being in his house and talking about his wife being in there, I thought he had come home and caught them together. I was a little confused at the first of that.
Yeah, no, he was an intruder, I think, from the get. The wife was sleeping upstairs, and he either noticed it on video camera or saw it with his own eyes, but he called and reported an intruder in their home while his wife slept. And he had to let the officer know when he got there. The officer had to comfort him, saying, by him telling the officer, "I am just so scared." But good thing the men got upstairs and woke the lady up and got her out.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wanted to say something about
was
that.
weak. I'm sorry, but he went outside while an intruder was in the house and his wife was in the house.
Wild.
Yes.
Absolutely wild.
That
That's crazy
is piss poor.
That's San Francisco for you.
I would never do that to somebody that I love. What?
This whole video is a perfect summation of liberal policies and weak men. Like for that man, yeah, like, call the cops, but run in there, check on your wife first. You don't wait till they show up if you actually care about her. And then second of all, like just what you saw with the officers being so neutered, like they would rather die than use force on a criminal. Like that's what happens when policies have just beaten down the officers and literally prevent them from doing their job at the cost of their own. So yeah, that's just peak San Francisco for you.
Okay. Let's go to Big Ron.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a no bill for me, and I have to echo what everybody else is saying. The fact that the officer showed way too much restraint, at least for my state. He would have pulled the knife out the first time, and as Joe likes to say, he would have been BRT. There's been no question about that. And if that would have been my house, he would have never made it out of my house alive, and my wife would have made sure of that also.
I mean, would you have stood on the street waiting for law enforcement in this type of situation while your wife was
Oh hell no,
unaware in the house?
No. They would have been getting a call to call the morgue, because he would not have left that house on his own accord.
Well, I don't know if the man who called the police, I think he just didn't know if his slapping skills were up to snuff. Like he didn't know if he could slap the suspect hard enough to defend himself.
In his Carhartt vest.
I was going to say he needs to take that Carhartt vest off, because that's more of menswear, and he definitely needs to be shopping in the ladies' department.
I'll tell you, I've noticed that Carhartt has moved its way over to the liberal side. I see a lot of it.
They do.
But it is good gear. Nothing wrong with it. It's outstanding gear. It's durable and damn sure keep you warm.
Well,
But-
I personally think that they both need to see other men.
Yeah, I can't imagine standing on the curb and just hoping that the guy that's in the house with the knife doesn't stab my wife while she slept.
Well, she's like, I brought your wife out. He's like, I was hoping you'd do that.
Yeah,
it's like
that's why I called you. Thank you, Superman. It's so beta. It's weird. I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself as a man, in my opinion. But let's go to Lawyer Joe.
I have to agree with everything everyone else said. The only thing is, you have to remember, I mean, in a situation like this, though, if I'm the wife inside, whoever, my significant other standing out there going, "Oh, this motherfucker messed up. You picked the wrong house, bitch."
Man,
And-
if it was you inside, your significant other would be running in there hoping to like hold you back from the guy that he's like, oh no,
Save
this
the
isn't gonna
victim.
be good.
But I'm like, obviously, this is San Francisco, so neither of them are like that. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I would expect whoever I'm with to be like, honey, hey, yeah, don't you stand out there like a bitch. I'm gonna beat your ass in front of the cops. So
is this
yeah.
literally your comments on this video?
Yes, it literally is. I'd have beat
Okay.
that boy's ass in front of the police.
All right.
But they did fine.
That's the I wish it was me scenario, I guess.
I don't
Jason,
wish. I'm just saying.
Jason, what did you notice about this video? Now, well, let me say this about the video. The video this is what San Francisco PD released, this narrated version. So this is not a podcaster or YouTuber out there that's narrating it. This narration is from the police department.
What I noticed was.
You want to hear some of it again?
Go ahead.
Raised the knife with his right hand and tried to stab Officer Monroe in the head. Officer Monroe jumped backwards and narrowly avoided being stabbed. Officer Monroe drew her service firearm and pointed it at the suspect and ordered the suspect to drop the
just liability mitigation for them.
Yeah, I would not last 1 week in San Francisco as a cop. I'd be fired in 2 seconds, I guess, if that's the way they want to do their job. I will say, the first officer down the hallway, there was a couple opportunities for less lethal, but once the knife was exposed, and now you have basically a fleeing felon with a weapon, that guy's lucky. He's 100% lucky he's alive, and the cops are 100% lucky that nobody was hurt and no innocents were hurt. That was just law enforcement in blue states these days.
And one last question: were those firefighters with officers, or did they just happen to be there?
I don't know. I can answer that question.
I don't know what the protocol is there. I mean, if this is a scenario in my background, police secure the scene before fire comes in. So I don't know.
I guess actually, I just thought maybe since he was on the roof, they were already en route to try and get a net under him or something. I don't know.
They don't do that.
Oh man.
Yeah, we don't carry nets.
Not police, but firefighters, don't they have?
No.
No, man.
No.
I mean, this is San Francisco, Hollywood and stuff. It might be there.
You're not going to hold
it. I think that's only cartoons and movies.
Trying to catch
him. Jump!
Cartoons and movies. San Francisco. That's what we said.
I'm sorry. I might need a minute on this one. You caught me off guard. He's a firefighter having net.
And all the nets say Acme on them.
We have a firefighter in the comments. Casey said we don't carry nets.
I have a net in my fishing boat. That's about it.
Oh, it is also San Francisco. There might be pirates there. They could have nets.
Okay.
Are you guys saying that Hollywood's not accurate though?
Jason's
going.
Well,
I meant it's California, so San Francisco, Hollywood, and it's all kinds of crazy.
I thought the strangest thing about it was the narration that the agency provided. It was clearly, it wasn't really cop speak. It was, their courageous move and quick reaction was able to avoid being struck by the knife. It was just.
That was their public relations guy.
I don't think they did a good job, in my opinion. To me, it sounds worse.
Yeah, but them pausing
it sounded like cop-ganda to me. I was about to say something about that, but I was like, let me hold back.
Well, guys, I don't pick videos with narration. I'd let this one go because it was released by the law enforcement agency, and I thought somebody would have said something about it.
I think this is a result of all the liberal policy, anti-police rhetoric that goes around. I think, the way that they paused and highlighted the weapon every time he slashed at them. They're like, look, she's charging him without a weapon. Look, she's doing her best. She's doing her best. Finally, she's defending herself. It all seemed like they were trying to mitigate liability.
I like the whole liability. I'm sorry, what?
The knife the guy had, did you notice that knife, like the way it was shaped? It looked like either a dinner knife or a steak knife.
It doesn't matter.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. A knife can still, a dinner knife might not really do much, but what that whole video was just odd.
I think that may have been one of the best ones in a while.
It's definitely one of the funniest. And the pantaloons.
Well, I tell you what, let's go to Oklahoma City and shake things up. See what you think about this one.
The way that your vehicle was located I'll have to write you a ticket for improper U-turn. Whenever you complete a U-turn,
I didn't U-turn.
hold on. Whenever you complete a U-turn, you're supposed to be as far to that corner as possible. Okay?
Yes, that is, they have another car in front of her. That's why, I cannot parking behind her.
Okay. Well, you are required to go as far away you're not supposed to be between any cars. You're supposed to be against that curb line. Okay? I need you to sign with your finger. It's not an admission of guilt. You're just signing saying you'll take care of the citation for a ticket. You're promising saying that you'll take care of it at a later date, whether that be in court or if you take care of it outside of court.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'm writing and issuing you a citation for improper U-turn. Yes, sir.
Citation, she hitting me and I got
Okay.
the citation.
I'm not writing a ticket for her hitting you. Okay?
No, she hitting me. You see the...
I'm not
you
writing
see-
a ticket
You see the
for...
evidence? No.
Okay. I don't think that you're understanding what I'm saying here,
I
okay?
understand. I told you. The car, the front of her can hurt to the and she
Okay.
didn't turn.
Whenever you make a U-turn...
I didn't make a U-turn.
Oh, sorry. Let me clarify, okay? Whenever you enter a little intersection thing like that, you are not allowed to go side by side next to a car.
Because
Okay?
if-
You have to go
Intersection
behind
thing.
vehicles.
Hey, you are the police.
Yes.
So you know
Okay.
how many cars?
We are done, sir. No, we're done arguing about this, okay? We are not We are not arguing about this, okay?
I want to show you.
We argue in court. We argue in court.
You take the phone and
We argue in court.
no,
We don't argue on the side of the road. We argue in court. Yes, that's how it works. Because if not, if you don't sign this, you go to jail. Okay? I don't want to take you to jail.
I'm ready to go.
You ready to go to jail?
Yeah, I'm
Ridiculous. Okay, that involves impounding your car too. Okay. You got a ticket also?
Yes.
Your tag's expired?
Yes.
So you're good to get out of here?
Okay.
There's a report. I'll get to you guys in a second. Wait there. So, this is the ticket.
Right.
There's a date at the bottom that you have to take care of it by. And then below that, there's a phone number, website, address. One of the three will tell you how and where to take care of it.
Okay.
And then there is a case number right there. Has everyone's person, vehicle, and insurance information on it, okay?
Okay. So now I guess I'll just get my insurance to go after or take care of it.
Yeah, just call the insurance, give them the case number.
Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry.
Wonderful thing.
Go ahead.
Can you roll me another unit? I got this guy up here and a supervisor. He's refusing to sign a ticket, and he's wanting to go to jail.
My husband, we stay here waiting for go to here. We're not U-turn.
Okay,
waiting to
it doesn't
go
matter
here.
about a U-turn or what. That lane,
And I
you
heard,
can't.
she bit us. She hit us.
I understand that, but you're not. You see where that car's at? Whenever you enter that area, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to leave any space at all. You're not supposed to leave any space at all.
You see that two car?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I am the top
The way
car.
where
I'm the
your
top
vehicle
car.
was located, your
Top
vehicle
car.
was not like that.
Sit down.
No.
You sit up. Get on the ground.
No. See, sir. No. Cho anh em lần. Anh đánh nó, đánh lại. I need the ambulance.
Yeah, I'm gonna call an ambulance.
Look at his face.
112 Hefner, roll me fire and incident supervisor.
My husband, we stay here waiting for go to here. We're not U-turn. We're
Okay,
waiting to
it
go
doesn't
here.
matter about a U-turn or what. That lane,
And I heard,
can't-
she bit us. She hit us.
I understand that, but you're not. You see where that car's at? Whenever you enter that area, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to leave any space at all. You're not supposed to leave any space at all.
You see that two car?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I am the
The
tough
way
guy.
where
I'm the
your
tough
vehicle
guy.
was located, your
Tough
vehicle was
guy.
not like that.
Sit down.
No.
You sit down. Get on the ground.
No. See, sir. No. Các bạn cho anh phải em lần. Anh nói anh lại. I need the ambulance.
Yeah, I'm gonna call an ambulance.
Look at his head.
112 Hefner, roll me fire and incident supervisor.
Okay, yeah, let's go to tactical.
That's going to trial. I'm billing that. 100%. He didn't touch the officer, and to body slam an old man, yeah.
Actually, he did. He hit him in the
He
chest.
did touch the officer.
He whacked him in the chest and told him to shut up.
Wait, can you replay
Told him
that?
to shut up and sit down.
You're not supposed to leave any space at all. You're not supposed to leave any space at all.
You see that two car?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I am the
The
tough
way
guy.
where
I'm the
your
tough
vehicle
guy.
was located, your
Tough
vehicle
guy.
was not like that.
Sit down.
No.
Oh, okay, so he touched his dash cam.
Did you see the strike?
Yeah, I saw the pat. Where's the proportional force?
Does
Well,
it
I
say
mean,
it has to be proportional?
That's up to you to make a decision and give us a bill or no bill. But I think you said you would indict this for a criminal charge, right?
Yeah, because
Did you see the injuries?
I don't see any injured parties here. I see somebody who's been tapped on the shoulder, but I did see somebody get like fucking flung across, and I think that to me is where I see injuries there. I
Did
don't
you see injuries? Did you see what the older gentleman's injuries were from this encounter? In the write-up, did you read it? No?
Brain bleed, fractured neck.
Yeah,
kinda
brain
went through
bleed, fractured neck. He's at his age, he's lucky to be alive.
He's also a bone cancer patient.
He's been in the hospital for 2 weeks from this incident.
Yeah, so definitely to trial. That's not proportional force.
All right. Let's go to Fidji.
That's an absolute bill. That the guy kind of tapped him. He's a 71-year-old, obviously frail man. He used a ridiculous amount of force there, and the officer from the beginning wasn't willing to listen to that guy's side of the story. He's trying to explain it, and the officer's not. He's shunning him off. He doesn't want to hear it, and then he did this. I find this pretty disgusting, actually.
So it's absolutely an indictment for you, is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I'm billing it as well. That was excessive.
James.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
No, I was just. He didn't have a weapon like open palms. Like I don't know. Like I have a problem with seniors being treated that way. I could tell the officer was getting frustrated. It was frustrating listening to the guy argue with him. He could barely speak English and didn't have a clue. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to seniors, like he could have spun him around and put cuffs on him. He didn't have to slam him. Even if you assume like he thought he'd resist more, didn't like. I don't think he meant to put him down that hard, but it did not seem like the right course of action.
Okay. James, what did you think?
Unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to skip me for a bit.
Okay. Lawyer Joe, light us up.
Actually, everybody's about to be in shock. I would indict the cop for excessive force, but probably I wouldn't probably be okay with as severe charge as everyone else probably wants, because like we always talk about, your feelings don't matter and the law is the law. And if you assault, that was assault. That was textbook definition of assault, him whacking the officer. So that was technically, I mean, that was a felony. He assaulted a police officer, and that's a felony. Now, the cop went overboard when he's, you know, like what Bruce described. There was no reason to like put him on the ground. You're twice as big, twice as strong. You could have grabbed the guy's hands, put him behind him, and then if he fought, yeah, he was probably going to the ground, but he didn't. And I think that was, I mean, you could see me he like leg sweeped him to get him on the ground. So I think that was excessive, but he was justified in handcuffing him and holding him under detention because the guy assaulted him, but he went too far when he put him on the ground. So depending on what they were asking for an indictment for, it depends on whether I bill or not.
Okay, well, it depends. It's not an answer when you're sitting on a grand
Okay,
jury.
well, I don't know what they're
It's up
going.
for a touchdown.
What are they asking to indict for?
Let's just go with assault causing bodily injury.
I'd have to go no on that because he was assaulted first. Excessive force needs to be like an actual criminal charge, because legally the cop did nothing that he wasn't legally allowed to do. He violated the guy's civil rights, but legally cops get away with that all the time. So if that's what you're going with, I'd have to not indict him because he was within his legal bounds as soon as the guy put hands on him.
What constitutional rights is this officer denying this gentleman prior to putting him on the ground?
Excessive use of force has been determined to be a Fourth Amendment.
Prior to that.
Oh, prior to that, none.
Okay.
Prior to putting him on the ground, he did nothing wrong. I mean, look, I was frustrated within a few seconds, and as I have learned too, as I knew before, but you're not going to sit there and argue it at the side of the road. The cop told him, and he was nice about it. He was like, "Sir, listen, you know, you need to get yourself an interpreter or whatever." But he explained everything to him, and then the guy gets out of his car and starts walking away. And do they not issue like paper tickets anymore of any kind? Because I'd have printed it out, whatever, handed it to him, and be like, "Have a nice day," and walked away.
No, you're required to sign acknowledgement of the receipt that binds you to agree to a court appearance.
There are plenty of people, I don't know, in Ohio, I know plenty of people who refuse to sign it, and the cop will just put refuse to sign and still hand them the ticket. Because
Well,
it's all recorded now, so
I wouldn't try that in other jurisdictions.
I'm not even saying it's right, like legally. I'm just saying people have done it, and the cop is right. Because what if the person refuses to sign? What are you going to do?
Arrest
You're
them.
going to arrest
It's
for
now
refusing
instanter. Well, you're gonna keep talking over me. I'll never get the words out of my mouth. But it's called instanter. I can instanter someone. I'll take them before a judge right now, and that judge is going to be in my jail when they get arraigned. Then they'll get to see a judge. Judge can set a fine, determine guilt, and we can settle the matter right then and there. It's called instanter, as in instant.
Okay, but either way, I mean, he just walks away from the cop, and then he tells the cop to shut up and like physically puts hands on him. So until that point, the cop hadn't done anything wrong. He'd been impatient, but that's not against the law. So
Okay, so
until
this would be a no bill.
if you're going for like, what did you say that you would indict it? Like the indictment would be?
Aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury.
I'd go with no. I wouldn't indict him on that.
Okay. Well, let's go to Jason. Jason, what do you think?
I'm firing this cop in 2 seconds. I'm also going to indict him. This is complete. This makes me mad watching this shit. Completely out of line. I don't care if the guy hit me in the chest or not. This isn't a 240-pound biker guy. This is a guy who's trying to just explain to this officer this is horrible. He's
If
done.
you look at the video,
He's gone. It doesn't matter. He could have just listen to the guy. Just let him rant. You know, you get all the time in the world here. And a 7-year-old man hit me in the chest like that, I'm not throwing him on the ground. I'll back up and say, "Sir, just calm down. Let's talk about this." It's the totality of this is completely wrong. I don't.
You're not going to get an indictment for aggravated. I guarantee. Like
He
I
got a
can't.
brain. He got
I
a
know.
brain bleed.
But he-
Hold on a second. So if you throw somebody on the ground, the statutes up here are basically based upon substantial bodily harm, great bodily harm, or whatever. You're talking a 7-year-old man who weighs about 110 pounds. If that officer would just backed up and said, "Sir, just calm down a second," you don't grab somebody with that stature and throw them on the ground like that and then handcuff them and not expect to. I mean, this is disgusting to me.
I agree about that part. I 100% agree. What if he was going to arrest the guy? You're bigger. You could have just put his hands behind his back and be like, "Sir, you're under arrest for whatever you're arresting him for." But I'm saying I can't see getting an aggravated assault with grievous bodily injury or whatever it's called in a jurisdiction for that, because as Joe likes to always point out, the cop was legally in the right to be there. He was legally in the right to detain that man for putting hands on him. So, feelings aside, I think what he did was bullshit. Somebody should have punched a cop in the face. But legally, what he did, I don't see him getting indicted for it.
Here's another problem I have with it.
Hold on, Fidgy. I disagree. And again, it goes back to when you walk up to somebody and you have a 28-year-old guy who is bigger than you and size comes into it and mental capabilities and language barriers and all these other circumstances. That action, what he did, would be justified with somebody who that officer felt threatened by. I would not feel threatened by this guy. He's just trying to explain himself. That's it. And the officer didn't pick up on that. I think this is completely out of line, and I'm not. I'm not sure.
I 100% agree he's out of line. 100%.
Okay.
And
the officer is also telling him that that case needs to be fought in court. And while he's telling him that, he keeps arguing with the guy.
The problem with
if
that, though,
the case
Fidgy,
is supposed
is
to be fought in court, then the officer tells him once, or might tell him one more time, but that's it.
okay.
After that,
Fidgy, the problem with that is if you walk up to a scenario and you have this person here, and I'm walking up to him and he just wants to vent and he's trying to explain himself. I mean, we all talk about that. You know, it's funny that I'm sticking up for the guy who just 7-year-old man who got his head smashed, and you guys are defending the cops. What I'm saying
the guy was right. I'm sticking up for the 71-year-old.
What I'm saying is that this officer should have recognized that it's an elderly man that doesn't understand English, and he should have taken the time to just calm him down. That takedown was offensive to me. I would not want him on my department ever again.
okay, I'm going to interject again, just because the hypocrisy on this kind of stuff is really starting to annoy me, because there are plenty of times when there's someone who's mentally deranged, who's like having a complete mental breakdown, and the cops, they tase them, they put them down, they do whatever, and that's okay. That's okay. But this old guy who puts his hand on the cop first, that's not okay. I'm having a hard time understanding why people in mental.
Let's hold up for a second.
He's not a threat.
If you watch the video, folks, this is his hand immediately after making contact with the officer. It's the back of his hand. It's almost like he's using his arms to gesture, and the contact could even be incidental. Let's watch it again, and then I got some points that I want to come back to for you, Lawyer Joe and Jason. Watch. I hardly say that's an assault. I hardly say that the action that the officer takes right here is anywhere near proportional and just enough force to exact the arrest. I think it's a lot more force than needed to be used to exact the arrest. And I think 100% you get an indictment for aggravated assault against aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, and most likely in Texas you'd get the add-on to a person over the age of 65, abuse of the elderly.
So what happened to
hang
the cop had
on. Nothing happened to. There's no one thing. It's always situational. It's always the evidence of the one incident that we're looking at. No two are the same, unless you're looking at general terms. But when you talk about mentally ill people, officers do approach them in a decent manner. But there's sometimes with a mentally ill person, he's not being docile as this old man was, where he he lightly strikes him in the chest with the back of his open hand as he's talking. My other criticism of the police officer, which is not criminal, but I thought it was horrible, was him explaining to this gentleman what I never heard the infraction. He was trying to explain about, well, when you're doing this, you need to be on this lane. It was all confusing. And I'm with Jason. I would make sure that he was fired before his booking photograph hit the streets, and absolutely an indictment for aggravated.
So I'm going to need some rules from you guys written down on what Joe was the cop legally allowed to be there? Was the cop legally allowed to arrest the
Yes, he
man for
passed that
putting hands on him?
He passed that test,
Okay.
yes.
Under Oklahoma law, I just looked it up. Assault on a police officer can carry up to life in prison. Minimum sentence is a mandatory minimum of 5 years.
Look up.
So legally, that cop, legally, he didn't do anything. What did he do wrong? You guys need to understand that I 100% would agree with the excessive force. When he had his hands on that man.
Why are you looking up stuff? Look up what is justifiable force being used.
I understand that, but we've watched.
And then cut me off before I never get to my point. That way you can't argue it. Look that up and then tell me if it does not use the standard of just enough. That's all you're allowed to use is just enough. And no reasonable person is going to believe that this fit young officer needed to use that much force to take this person into custody. I can think of 6 off the top of my head techniques that when he put his hand up on him, take a hold of that wrist. I've got this old man. He's going to go to jail if that's where we're going. I mean, I always look.
I'm agreeing with you on that. I agreed with you guys 100% on that. He was from that point on, from where he grabbed the guy's wrist on, was excessive. Absolutely 100% excessive. I agree. Like I said, he was, like you guys have said, he was way bigger. He had a hold of that old guy's wrist. He could have easily just pulled him around and put handcuffs on him, and that would have been that. But this was gross, beyond gross. But the whole thing with the law matters, your feelings don't. It is a felony in the state of Oklahoma to put your arms or put your hands on a cop. So I need to understand, does that matter or not matter? Because every other time I bring it up.
The law says you put your hands on a police officer?
Let's see. Assaulting a police officer in Oklahoma.
It's assaulting, not hands-on.
Touching's
a little different than assault.
The legal definition in Ohio of assault is fear or apprehension of or actually being touched against your will. That's pretty much the definition.
I don't think that fits this at all. That doesn't fit it at all.
So anybody can go up to a cop. I can go up to a cop, put my hand on his chest and tell him to shut up, and he can't.
It depends on your body language and the situation. You can't. Here's the problem with lawyers.
You understand real quick, you understand what I'm saying before you continue. What you're saying is an absolute violation of the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. I want you to understand that before you go any further.
Okay, before we start giving out any legal notices here, let's talk about this.
I'm not giving legal notice. I'm explaining the 14th Amendment.
Stop talking over me, please. In Texas, you're right. What this gentleman did to a police officer could be considered assault, but it's a Class C misdemeanor. How much, which is the very lowest level, it's punishable by another citation, no jail time. You can't be arrested unless you continue to be a threat. But any contact that doesn't cause injury or pain is just a simple assault, which is a Class C misdemeanor. So tell me, looking at it from those lenses, how much force should an officer use to take someone into custody for a Class C misdemeanor?
Well, it's Oklahoma, and I'm going to read you the law right this second. It's not very long. It's 649. Assault and battery upon a police officer. Assault of a police officer, sheriff, deputy, blah, 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 the rest of them. Or state of peace officer engaged in his or her duties is punishable by 6 months in jail. Battery or assault and battery of a member of law enforcement is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison.
Hey, Joe, look up assault. Is there any word of intent to injure in the assault language? This guy did not intend to injure the officer. So you can't have assault without the intent to injure.
Yeah, and I think that goes to the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. Like Jason and Joe are saying, it's the totality of the situation. Like if you walk up and you tap an officer on the shoulder to get his attention, to say like something happened and over there, that's not assault.
Look, guys,
the guy whacked him and told him to shut up. I mean, I just don't get the hypocrisy. We're one time and so I'm done.
There's no hypocrisy. In my opinion, if somebody wants to injure a cop, they have intent to do so. I don't think this guy intended to hurt this officer. He was trying to explain to him. So touching is a little different than I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, but even with that being the case, I think Joe's point is still pretty valid. Like the officer was not necessarily breaking the law in enforcing what he did. There was definitely excessive force, but it as you were saying, it's situational. So like it's really, and I think that highlights an issue with the law. And as she said, that can potentially violate equal protection because that's so subjective. Like somebody could look intimidating and not actually be intimidating, and if they did the same thing, they'd get treated differently.
Well, and guys, we are acting, pretending to be a jury here. Joe, do you not think that there would be a sympathetic jury to this old man?
I think when this is put before a jury, either a grand jury or an indictment, which I think it should be indicted. And by the way, they're waiting that process. I expect that officer to be indicted. It just happened at the end of October. But no, the reasonable standard, just like when we watch Deadly Force, would a reasonable person believe that the amount of force used was appropriate and just enough to take this person into custody? I think most reasonable people are going to look at this old, frail man and say that, no, we think that's too much. And then he's going to be subject to penalties for how severe these injuries were.
Yeah, and I think in this case it'll be used in a way that makes sense. I guess what I'm saying is that the perception of like that reasonableness also shifts with what's going on in society. This is where I say that biases really come into play because there are when we look into stereotypes and stuff like that, you see people who are stereotyped as stronger or as more combative.
So you started the argument with law, and now we're out here on this limb.
Well, it has to intersect.
It does not. It only does to you and intersect. It doesn't have anything to do with the law. It just doesn't. The law is going to look at these. They're going to be cleaned up and masked down by the time it gets to a grand jury. You're going to look at, was it reasonable force? Would a reasonable person believe it was reasonable force? And on this case, say no.
Well, I'm talking about the reasonableness. Reasonableness requires humans to make an observation, and that observation is not going to be without bias by definition, because that's how we make decisions as humans.
Okay, we don't have time. I got to move on. Let's go to Carmel by the Sea, California.
He's got the crowbar. Watch out. Carmel Police, you're under arrest.
Less lethal fire, no other rounds.
He's bringing into
Who's here?
he's breaking into a little shed.
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Now! Do the thing!
Drop it!
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
You're gonna get shot.
Drop it!
Drop it!
Please drop it! Please drop it!
Drop it!
No, we don't want to kill you today.
Please tell me
We do
more.
not want to kill you. Please drop the crowbar. Please. We do not want to shoot you today.
Drop it!
Help!
Okay. Did everybody catch up on that? There was some non-lethal used, and there was some lethal used from this one.
It's straight up using a KSG for non-lethal. I thought that was sweet.
Oh, you did? Why do you think that's so sweet?
Because it's Keltec.
KSG's a sweet shotgun.
Yeah, I'm looking at one to get.
Yeah, my wife's been wanting one for a while.
Okay, let's get to the video. James. Well, I think we're having to skip James. Tactical, what you think about this?
No, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead, James.
Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't shoot him more. But like they said, they didn't want to kill him, and well, they ended up doing so. But regardless, he was not obeying anyone and being all belligerent and shit with weapons. So yeah, I'd say no bill. It was a good shoot.
No bill, good shoot. Tell me about what got me covered up here. Hang on a second. Tactical, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say for this one, I don't see like they were using non-lethal, and then when the cop went to lethal, what triggered that? Was there because to me I don't see why there was an escalation to lethal.
He kept advancing at the officers.
So you don't think that they needed to employ lethal force?
I think I'm trying to see. Is this right before did he already get shot here on this?
Yeah, he's already been shot.
Right.
Already been shot.
You go right. Yeah.
You're gonna get shot.
Drop it!
Drop it!
Yep. Turns up to the non-lethal.
No, we don't want to kill you
Less.
today. We do not want to kill you.
He didn't back up far enough.
Drop the crowbar. Please. We do not want to shoot you today. To the ground.
Drop it!
Wait, no, he already got shot by now.
When he does the little dance on the door, so he's catching non-lethal, and then he catches some lethal right in the middle of it.
Get on the ground!
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to bill.
No, he's already been shot here.
So what standard are you using on the bill?
Drop it!
Like, because he has a Second Amendment right, he can carry arms. Now, if he's advancing at the officers, I feel like that's a case,
Right there with the lethal.
But the lethal was literally mixed in with the non-lethal. So one officer thought the non-lethal was still the way to go. He was in the middle of administering non-lethal when another officer went to lethal. So
Get on the ground!
I think that's
You always have lethal cover.
Yeah.
Here's where he gets shot. Now watch what he's doing. You have the officer to the left that steps up to put some less lethal on him.
Mm-hmm.
See how fast he moved from where he was at? He's advancing. And the officers step back. See where he's at when the officer's he's getting shot, he's back closer to the building.
Yeah, you see how he made that movement with his foot up?
There he is.
Yeah, like that. When you move like that, you're only going to be able to take a step down, which is what he does. It's not like he advances truly again, he's still constantly being shot, but like at the last frame, you see his right leg up in the air. He can only step down from that angle.
Drops the door towards him.
Get on the ground!
Yep.
Taking less
Like
lethal.
that from that point.
That guy moved 10 feet in a half second, dude.
He should move a long way for a guy that can't do it.
Well, I'm saying that's
Okay,
the
so
only.
you're an indictment. You're going to indict them because this guy didn't present enough threat to the officers.
To switch to lethal, yeah, that moment, yeah.
Okay, well, there's not like non-lethal is not working, so I guess we have to kill the guy. That's not really the way it works. That's where it ends, really. The only time you use deadly force is in reasonable fear for yourself or others. Let's go to Fidji.
Sorry, we had something happen here. I had to step away for a minute.
No worries. James?
I already said no bill, good shoot.
Bruce?
Yeah, that's no bill for me. He's within 21 feet, has a deadly weapon, and he was not going to, he must have been jumped up on some type of drug, because ballistic vest aside, he was not backing down. Then he kept advancing. It's no bill. No bill.
Okay. Big Ron, what do you think?
Was that an actual bullet resistant vest, or was that just like one of those airsoft ones?
The text at the end does say that it is a ballistic vest in quotes, and it stopped at least one round.
Yep.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be a good shoot. He had a weapon advanced towards the officers. They tried less lethal, so play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Very good. Jason, what do you think?
No bill.
I think no bill too. I think this guy, and you got to take everything in its totality. The way he's dressed, the way he's acting. He's got a crowbar, and that could be very quickly a deadly weapon. Catching one of the officers, he's dropped a door at them, and he takes some steps back, takes some of that less lethal, then he charges forward, and that's when he catches some bullets. So I'm going to be a no bill on this. It's a sad situation, but I mean, what do you do to a guy that's got a crowbar and has a helmet and armor on?
I think you're supposed to call a social worker, right?
There was also a rifle on the scene, even though it ended up being a airsoft or BB gun. There was a rifle, so he was presumed to be armed.
Yeah, and for all the new listeners to our show, I was joking about the social worker.
Well, the social
where
worker
was
was
this?
there. San Francisco.
I enjoyed that comment.
I'm sorry, no, it's in Carmel by the sea.
I think
Okay.
B had the best take on that. Clint Eastwood.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. What was your question? Where was it at? Was all you were saying or asking?
I did. You said Carmel by the Sea.
Yes, California. That's where it was at. I'll tell you what. Let's go to Minnesota. Carjack.
That escalated quickly.
Shots fired, shots fired. Back up now! Get back.
The guy was just riding along on his bicycle.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
629 for medic.
Well, he shoots a rifle through the windshield. Holy shit. What did this guy do?
I actually thought that was the suspect that threw their windshield.
257, shots fired, suspect down. Shots fired, suspect down. Officers are okay. Shots fired. Right here.
Shots fired, shots fired. Back up now! Don't fucking move! Officers are okay. Shots fired.
Joe, hold it there for a minute. Okay.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see that he pointed the handgun at them, but it makes it an easy call for me.
Yeah, if he's already wanted for murder and pointed a gun, that's an easy no bill.
It's a pretty despicable murder at that.
Let's go back to the dash cam on that. I think the dash cam is probably going to show that the best. So, getting the story, he's the suspect in his pregnant girlfriend's murder. They catch him at a laundromat. They're surveillance, staking it out to see if he's there. Then they get a report he's on a bicycle riding in a nearby neighborhood. And this is their response. Hard to say. Did he turn? Was he going in one direction and turn back to the officers? Or this is the direction of travel he was in. So he's crossing the street there. Oh no, he's traveling in the same direction the officers are traveling now, and he makes a loopy turn to his left. I can't see I can see it happening.
I can see the turn. I can't see much else, but I have no reason to doubt what they said. It's definitely no bill for me.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, that's an easy no bill. If I could prosecute that kid again, like bring him back from the dead, I probably would.
Okay, that's harsh. What happened to double jeopardy, man? Tactical engineer, what do you think?
I don't typically trust any government official, so I don't see him like turning and using or pointing a firearm there. So I'd have to bill on this one. Because it looks like they just ran him down and just like executed him.
Okay, now keep in mind, he was traveling down the street the same direction the officers are pointed now. He loops back around to this parking lot to head on with the police officers. Now, you're right, I can't see the hands. There's a witness that there's pretty close that would be able to see this.
I think that that evidence should come out in trial then, and the officers will be acquitted.
Okay.
But from what I can tell, it looks like an execution, and that's not their job to execute people.
No, that looks like an execution to you?
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what it looks like to me.
Okay. Let's
not saying it's not justified, but yeah.
No, well, you are saying it's not justified. You're sending it to a trial.
It's not legally justified. Morally justified, yes.
Couple of $100,000, no big deal to keep yourself from going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about lawfare, we can talk about lawfare and how our justice system.
I just wanted your decision on this one, my friend. Let's go to Fidgy.
No, Bill. If he pointing a gun at the officers, that's
well, if you know, Billing, you're saying you're believing that he did. We can't tell from the video, but you're believing that he did, and that's tactical.
Isn't that what it said in the summary?
Well, that's what the government said. Going back to Tactical's point, Tactical says, well, I can't believe that. So without seeing it for myself, then it would have to go to trial.
I think if it was a casual execution like FT's suggesting, or sorry, TE, they probably would have waited till he got out of the car. That seemed like a move of necessity on the officer in the passenger seats part.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is the thing that you're forgetting, Tactical. If we were sitting in a grand jury, we would have access to exactly the evidence that we're talking about, the eyewitness and all that stuff. So we would be able to tell that whether or not he had a gun.
We say all the time, make the judgment for what you see there, assume that there is no other evidence, because we don't know if there is or isn't. So I get what Tactical's saying. I do.
True, I guess.
And I think juries need to vote their conscience, whether the rest of the room agrees or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go to Big Ron. What do you think this measures? How's this measure up to Florida style?
It was a good shoot, Florida style. we can't see it, but I agree that that officer would not have put rounds through the window had he not felt the necessity to do so. Florida, we will straight up run you over with a vehicle. So there was a need for him to put rounds on target. No bill.
Florida does things right.
Jason?
I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the team that responded had helmets on. This was a rapid response team. This is a very wanted felon, and if he pointed a gun, this is no bill all day long. This guy did bad shit.
Yeah, now let's don't forget the circumstances behind this, that he was had arrest warrant for the murder of his pregnant girlfriend. He's seen at a laundromat. Citizens report that. They respond there. They're kind of waiting the outside to see if he leaves. But then he's spotted nearby on a bike in a neighborhood. And it does allege that he pointed a gun. I'll go back to the video. I'm kind of leaning towards there must have been a firearm there, or the police story is not too far off, because you've got a citizen standing against the fence there. Now, he's not a part of none of this. He's just a dude on the street when this is all happening in front of him. And there's zero chance that he was not pulled in and interviewed by both law enforcement and district attorney and anybody else who wanted to know about this, because he is an uninterested third party there. So Jason, you're absolutely no billing on this, right?
Yeah, 100% no bill.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's a no bill. I agree with Jason. I think they cordoned off the area to try to catch him in the laundromat because he's, for whatever reason, either his crime or past criminal history, he deemed to be maybe a threat to law enforcement or the people at large. And that response team there with the helmets on, they were there to hunt him down. Could be a U.S. Marshal Federal Task Force even that works with PDs. You guys do that up in Minnesota?
Jason? Yeah. Yes, we do. And then that's why I said just what they're wearing right there. To me, that was not your typical patrol response. There was much more behind this.
No, you're not running around on patrol with a low profile. That's not what it's for. So mine's absolutely a no bill as well on that. Let's go to California. We do like it in California. Maybe that's the theme of the night. We had a few from California.
What is your emergency?
Yeah, we've got a domestic dispute going on over here off of Parker Road in Cascade, just before you get to Sloan Canyon here on that.
Okay, do we have an address it's happening at, or?
No, I'm in the condos over here at Sloan Canyon, and just below me on Sloan Canyon, on Parker Road. Ooh, somebody just shot a 38. I think so. I think someone needs to get over here ASAP.
Okay, stay on the line for me.
And so, obviously, we are talking about a weapon being involved.
Yeah, I do have the deputy. And did you get a clothing description? Sorry, I was listening to my radio also. On the mail?
There's another gunshot.
Okay.
Looks like he's got a black T-shirt on, and it looks like she's done. He just shot again. Looks like she's done.
Oh, yeah.
Broad daylight? Interesting.
10-3, give me the patch. (998) Sloan Canyon Road. Give me the patch. Give me the patch. Where's the gun? Move.
Did he just one tap him?
Yes.
Sample units 998 Sloan Canyon Road, Parker Road.
Red dot headshot.
Code.
And that's Deputy Eastwood, right? Clint Eastwood.
I don't think that's the same part of California. I don't think that's the same place.
Oh, upper body, heart shot.
Didn't kill him though. He was not a DRT.
Really?
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, he survived. I first I was gonna say that the caller knows his guns and calling a 38, but then they say they just found a 22 and a 9. So, but
Yeah, man, I don't give a lot of stock. Somebody's going to hear a sound and take into account reverb, echoes, and everything else, and say what that caliber was.
Yeah.
My opinion.
So, because
And so obviously we are talking.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, so the guy who's calling, he says she's done, something like that. Then they get there, he's all right. I think there was a minor or an adolescent in the passenger seat, and she seems to be crying for him. The call seems weird, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it wasn't warranted, but the call didn't seem to match up with what the officer found when he arrived.
Okay, so you're saying that influences you on a
Oh, no. Because you got to go off of what the knowledge he had. So it's no bill for me. All I'm saying is, I wonder. I just wish I knew what the caller was seeing. But yeah, no, it's no bill.
I think the callers saw a domestic, called, and while he was on the phone, shots rang out. He attributed to the scene that this deputy pulls up on.
Well, we definitely heard shots, and it would be in. Yeah, no, and like I said, it's no bill. Officer acted completely appropriately with the knowledge he had. It's just, and even the caller, yeah, if he didn't have complete sight, obviously, I don't know if the guy was shooting in the air or what.
There's no bill?
No bill. Yep.
Okay. Let's go to tactical.
So, again, kind of like the last one, what was the incident that incurred the gunfire? Like, was there any like a specific motion? Like, because I'm not seeing what triggered the officer to fire.
What about the defense of a third person?
Oh, and it says as Martinez produced a firearm as the deputy exited his patrol vehicle. Cannot speak tonight.
Yeah, I will say yes. The life of a third person, but definitely what Bean Wade said got me thinking. Like, was that actually? Because I'm only hearing the events told from one side. Like, I'm not seeing like how the people in the car actually felt.
How are you going to take all these statements and make this judgment, and then come back and say you'll look at it from the police officer's point of view, what the actor would have known or should have known at the time to make the decision to use deadly force? So the officer doesn't know what's going on in the car. He doesn't know the backstory. There's no investigation. He's got shots fired, domestic disturbance on the roadside. He pulls up, every door in the trunk's open, woman screaming. This guy's standing over her. They said there's already shots fired. The officer claims that he produced his weapon. I can't see that on the video, but I would say that a reasonable person would believe that this woman's life would be in danger.
Yeah, and especially you go there knowing all that the caller told you, and then you see the guy produce a gun. Like, that's definitely no bill. But man, the way that guy dropped, it's kind of surprising that he survived.
Yeah, he went down pretty quick. But I'm not sure what to say about that. Let's go with okay, well, I never got that. We know building, or we building there? Tactical.
Again, I don't trust government, so I'm gonna have to bill on this one. I did not see the firearm.
Okay, so you don't see him as an immediate threat to either the officer or the woman.
I think he could be, but he could have also not been.
What do you think a reasonable person would believe with the information the officer arrived with when he pulled up there and saw what he saw? I mean, because that's really the standard, right? What a reasonable
Yeah.
person would believe, just like as we see in the video, driving up on the scene, he got the same information you got from the dispatch. Shots fired, domestic service roadside, heard shots in the background, and he gets there and sees this.
So apparently the fight's over.
Yeah, I from what I can see, I don't see a reason to shoot in that moment.
We're going to go with indictment. We're going to go with indictment. Go ahead, Fidgy.
I'm going to no bill this. I think in the first one it said that he drove up and they were in an altercation. He'd already been told that shots were fired. I'm a little confused though from the caller, because the caller said he could obviously see him because he described like the color shirt they were wearing. And he was like, and saying she's done. I thought she was shot. I thought when he rolled up, I thought what we were going to see was the woman was shot.
I tell you what,
It was.
you've got to really stop listening to dispatch. The first report, what callers call in, is I hope the address is right. Everything else could change. But if you look on the map here, it shows where the white dot with a red border, that's where the domestic disturbance was what happened. Now they've got this weird line going up that leads me to believe, because there's going to be a box there at the end of this line here shortly. That makes me believe that's where the caller's at. So I think he'd been standing in the yard, saw it. Don't know, but either way, what does it matter? What does it matter than the initial contact, other than there is a report? This is what got law enforcement to that location. That's really
Well, my point was the officer was told, there were shots fired, and a scene was described, including the clothing. I think Bruce said something that, like, maybe the guy couldn't see the people, but he described the t-shirts. So I was responding more to that. That's still.
I mean, he could have drove by and saw that parked in his driveway, and he's within earshot and hears the shots. I don't know. Who knows?
Doesn't really matter. No bill.
No bill. Good deal. Let's go to Big Ron.
100% no bill, and good shot by the police officer.
It was effective. Jason, what do you think?
No bill.
Yep, I'm a no bill on that as well. Let's go to Phoenix, Arizona.
To get the truck, we had the money in the car, and me, like an idiot, I didn't lock the car.
Okay.
And we were counting the money in there, and I think he saw the owner was moving the car so he could pull it out of the garage. He's like, "Hey, dude, that car took off with something. He stole something out of your car," he said, and he left.
All right. Is that a prosecution?
Absolutely, to the highest degree.
Okay. So you went to some location to buy a truck, had money in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then we got off to see the truck with the owner of the truck. He got there,
Which was not him.
which was not him.
Okay.
And we got in the car and we started chasing this guy. And this dude was hauling ass until he crashed right here. And then he got out of the car and ran. I was following him with that bag. And I was running after him. And then, like I said, I lost him from the front of this complex to over here. And then I seen him. He's like, "Oh, I'll wait for the cops. I'll wait for the cops." I didn't do nothing.
Okay.
Yet he's there without shoes and the same description as the guy that I was chasing.
Get on the ground. 26 David Gordon. Take a look at custody behind the wall. On your stomach. On your stomach. On your stomach. Put your hands behind your back.
Trust me, I've been there. There's money all over the street. We were making a right-hand turn. We see the fighting. Came up to a car accident and then fighting. The guy was, and I was like, "You guys need to separate." And he's like, "He stole $50,000 from me."
Okay. Do the victims that chase this car through intersections and caused an accident, or one I guess could make an argument that caused an accident, can they be? What about going to a grand jury on them? I want to start with you, Tactical.
No, I would know, Bill.
Any reasons? They chased this car through the streets. Could have injured someone. Could have killed a child. No backstop.
I would say those people who chased, they weren't cops, right? They're civilians who chased.
Correct.
Yeah, so they're not part of the hearing in this matter. I mean, as witnesses, yes. But in terms of the police, yeah, I mean, the people literally chased them, so they clearly say, yeah, these were the people.
I mean, you see in the chase, right?
Yeah.
Little silver car there is the victim.
Yep.
And we got in the car and we started chasing this guy.
Okay, so you're no billing that.
Yep.
Okay. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably go with no bill. I was having connection issues and I didn't really catch it all, but from what I did see, I'm pretty sure it's no bill.
All right, Bidgie, go ahead.
Yeah, that's no bill. I mean, there's not much else to say about it. Because if I understood what was going on there, so the guy goes and he withdraws money, and I guess these two guys overheard how
Okay,
much
no,
he was
here's the deal. This guy shows up with $50,000 to buy a vehicle. I think off of fake like Craigslist, that type of thing. But these guys show up portraying that they're going to sell the vehicle. They take his money and take off. He gets in his car and then pursues them because he just jacked them out of $50,000.
Yeah, I would have done the same, quite frankly. $50,000 is a hell of a lot of money.
Well, no, it is. It's a lot of money. Okay, so no bill there, right? James, I mean, Bruce.
Sorry, it's no bill for me as well.
Okay. Big Ron.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no bill.
Because really, if you look at it, the victim didn't use any force at all. He pursued. He put some pressure on from behind, and they ran straight into a skid steer. So, like, he didn't really use any force. He just followed.
Okay.
Most I think you could charge them with is speeding.
Okay. Hey, Jason, what do you think about it?
You guys aren't going to like me. If reverse roles, you're pursuing somebody, civilian or squad car. This guy's fleeing and you're pushing him. And then all of a sudden the situation changes from a property crime into endangering the public. The fact that the victim is pursuing them and he rams into another car, I understand. I would have done the same thing, but I think this one needs to go to court and figure out what people think, if that was justified or not. Anytime you put the innocent lives at danger, that's where I think bad things happen. So I want a jury to sort this one out. Was that justified to put the public in danger because of a loss of money? I'm probably going to send it to court.
Well, now and just play devil's advocate here, did the victim of the robbery, did he put them in danger? Did he put people in danger? Because I remember there's a case where these officers pitted a car with a baby in the back. I think it was Yakima, Washington, and you guys said, well, that's fine. Like he pitted them, they pitted him out into the middle of the road. And that didn't. So, but the victim of this, he didn't ram them or anything. Like he didn't force them to run that red light.
Well, the one you're referring to, I think that was a kidnapping, right?
Yeah, I think he kidnapped his own son or something like that. Yeah.
So and I think the kid's life was in danger. So that's a little different. I'm going to go back to the argument we had with the other one. I mean, everything is circumstantial. Like what's going on right now. The reason I understand what the victim did. What I'm saying is if the victim doesn't chase him, are we putting the general public in danger without that chase? Is he driving normally or is he trying to flee from the victim and take a squad car or whatever? That's why this one is not black and white. This one is gray to me. I would let a jury sort it out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I was just playing devil's advocate. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I kind of agree with your devil's advocate, though, B-Wayne.
Well, here's what I think. I've heard people say in here that, oh, no, depends on the crime, but we shouldn't pursue because vehicle pursuits are dangerous to the public. But here we say it's okay for this guy to pursue. But that being said, I would no-bill it. I absolutely would. Good for the dude. Go get the crooks. Can't stand a thief, and that's $50,000. It's a lot of damn money. And if I was the officer on the scene, I would cite him for some traffic violations because he's got the right to pursue, in my opinion, but he can't break laws. He can't break speeding laws. He can't run through red lights like we saw him do. So I'd write him a couple of citations and probably forget to go to court that day. But I would not indict these two. If nobody's got a rebuttal to that, then I want to move on to something else. And guys, we're gonna end the show here in just a few minutes. Mike Tyson and the Logan Cat are about to start throwing hands, and I'm not going to miss that tonight. So we're going to cut it just a little bit shorter. But I wanted to show you a new hoodie from Sig Soda. For those of you that know, you know. Those of you who don't, I'll explain it to you. The white microphone icon on the hoodies is Carbon Mike. That's Dexter Taylor. For those of you that heard about his story, those that you haven't, do you a quick search on Google. I mean, well, you get it on Google as well, but on X, Dexter Taylor, and read some of the articles about this gentleman who's incarcerated in the state of New York for 10 years. But read what he's in prison for. But this is to support him. He's got an appeal coming up. We're a little bit short on that by the tune of about $50,000 to get the appeal filed for him. If you're a 2A absolutist, then this is absolutely something that you should think about doing. But anyway, we have these hoodies, green and black with a white icon on them. They're $50 a piece. To have them made and shipped anywhere in the continental United States is $38. And we've added $12 on top of it, rounded out to $50. So $12 goes to Dexter's legal fund. Anybody's interested on X, shoot myself, Joe Lanou, Joe_Lanou, or you are a smart ass C, or for those that know him, Carl, smart ass Carl on X. We'll get that order put together for you and get them out. Make great Christmas presents. We've had quite a few sell already. I think they're going to be hot. So I wanted to put that out there for anybody that's interested. I want to thank a couple of folks. B, matter of fact, is in our audience. B will be sporting a green one. Just letting you guys know. Oh, what did Uncle Buck said? Oh, no. But I am watching it live, Uncle Buck. I'm looking at it right now.
I am too.
Roy Jones,
women fighting
commentary
right now.
before it's about to happen.
It's not Tyson yet. So keep watching our show. You got about an hour.
Sad for you. I'm sad for you, Uncle Buck. I am. I'm sad for you. But hopefully they get straightened out. They're not fighting just yet. But I've got a couple of things to do so I get settled in and watch this fight.
And Uncle Buck, they said you got about an hour to get your Netflix in working order. So you're not missing out on it yet. Keep trying.
Oh, I'm not seeing an hour. I think this female's is the last fight.
Well, at the beginning of these two women fighting, they said it would be a little less than an hour. So that was probably 15 minutes ago.
Okay, that's about my right timeline. Hey, I want to give everybody a thanks that joined tonight, and even those that departed early. I appreciate your participation in the show tonight. I thought it was great points of view from everyone. For those of you that are watching live, there might be an after party a little bit later, but it's going to be an after Mike Tyson party that we'll kick up on X Spaces. If anybody wants to come in and chew the fat, bring up a point, and argue a point, we welcome every bit of that. But I want to thank everybody for being in here. Thanks, guys.
Hello.
No.
And did you ever get any money from Maya Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shennies?
No. I don't even speak to it. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
No.
Night Court with Joe Lanou live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to criminal. You got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of intent to criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to criminal. You have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to criminal. Are you a known racketeer? I refuse to answer on the grounds of